Hello there, I'm BobbyInBlue, and on this channel we talk about all things tech. If it's got lights or buttons, we're probably going to talk about it. Today I'd like to talk about what I think is the best camera for dads, families, or groups. The camera that we're talking about today I use to get these shots. And that camera is the Insta360 1X2. And here's why I think that 360 cameras, specifically the 1X2 from Insta360, is the best camera for dads, groups, and families. First of all, let's establish a few basics about 360 cameras. 360 cameras have two really wide, fisheye, 180-degree lenses on either side of them. One of them captures this side, one of them captures this side, and all together they create this kind of spherical image capturing every angle around the camera. The thing that I think is a lot of fun and that many consider magic, I'm one of them, is that these cameras actually have the ability to delete themselves. So if it's got this half of the image here and this half of the image here, when it stitches those together, similar to the way that a panoramic photo is stitched together, it actually deletes that very narrow plane that the camera exists. So as you can see here in this test video, the camera is there and it's recording, but it's deleted from the stitching in camera. So when those two lenses, the image from each of those lenses is put together, it deletes the camera as well as the little selfie stick or pole that the camera is sitting on as well. I think the best way to illustrate this is to show you what it looks like. This is just from a standard iPhone and it's showing me holding the Insta360 camera on the selfie stick. And then this is actually what comes out of the Insta360 when it's all said and done. It actually deletes itself and the selfie stick from the image. So you can kind of see where I'm holding it in my hand here. There's a couple of different ways to do this. There's some that are less obvious and some that are more obvious. Here you can see if I'm holding the camera out, it's a little bit easier to tell that something's a little bit weird in the photo. That being said, if I hold the camera closer to my body in a little more natural position, when you look at the photo, it's easier to accept the fact that, hey, I'm not holding a camera at all, somebody else took this photo. The next thing I love about these cameras is that you can take the same photo or video and export it in different aspect ratios. So vertical video, horizontal video, square, you can export in ultra wide, you can export it in tiny planet mode, or in a traditional 360 photo as well. This is awesome because I can take the exact same photo or video, and in a couple of minutes I can export one for my story, one for my feed, or one to hang on the wall in a traditional 16:9 or 4:3 ratio. The other part of this being able to export different aspect ratios is you can actually reframe your photo after you have taken it. So you can see in this picture I've got my two kids here, and I've put them in the center and I've taken a photo of them. Well, what if I want to feature more of the house on the left, or what if I want to feature more of the house on the right? Even though the photo's already taken, I can go back in after and really choose which angle that I'm kind of leaning more towards or where I place them in the frame. That's called reframing in the 360 world, and it's one of the things that makes 360 cameras stand out way above the rest. The next thing I want to talk about of why I think this camera is so great is its ability for you to stay present in the moment. So you have this camera, you set it on the Insta360 tripod, and you press record. And you can kind of go about and do whatever you'd like. My first example of this that kind of helps you see what I'm talking about is this last Christmas we had a video call scheduled with Santa. So we sat down in front of the Christmas tree and we set the camera to our side and the iPad right in front of us, and we had this great video call with Santa. But I didn't have to sit and think about where I was pointing the camera. I could really just be in the moment. I pressed record, I set it to the side, and I didn't worry about it again. And then afterwards, we were able to take that single 360 camera file, a video, and we were able to edit in multiple different shots. Here you can see a wide shot of the whole thing where you can see the whole family. You can see close-up shots of my kids, close-up shots of Santa on the iPad, and all the while the camera's just sitting there recording. We don't have to worry about a thing. This is just another fun clip I want to share with you. This is actually when we brought our daughter home from the hospital, and I kind of just set up a 360 camera right there in the middle, pressed record, and then we just interacted and talked with our kids, and were able to introduce them to our new little girl. And I didn't have to worry about what was going on. I didn't have to think about what was going on. I didn't have to worry about recording. I just kind of set it there and pressed record, and then I can choose afterwards and really stay in the moment. You can see why this is one of the key things and why I really recommend this for dads or families or groups that really wants to just stay in the moment and capture what's going on. I just want to pause for a second. It's a great time to drop below and actually give this video a like if you're getting any value from it. And definitely, if you haven't already, subscribe as well. So the next thing I think is important here is kind of back to one of the points I made at the beginning. What good is shooting photos and videos if they never make it off of your camera because it's too hard to edit them or you're not really sure what to do with them? The great thing here is the Insta360 app that comes with the Insta360 One X2 is really great to be able to get footage right on your phone. The great thing about it is though, is that it doesn't require you to download all the footage from the camera to your phone. It actually edits wirelessly between the camera and the phone. So you can pull up the clip, you can choose the section that you want, you can reframe it, add some keyframes to move it around the 360 globe, and to make it exactly the photo or video that you're interested in. You can add color correction, you can change a couple of things, you can add some audio, you can do so many different things within this app. And the cool thing is when you're done making all those changes, it's only going to actually export from the camera to your device the section of the video that you chose, and the section of the video that you highlighted or really wanted to be a part of your edit is the only piece that's going to be exported and brought to your phone. So you can see here, first of all, I'm telling it to look at me, and next I'm telling it to look at Emmett, and I'm kind of just bouncing back and forth between the two. And as we come to the end of this little clip, I actually ask Emmett, who's in front of us? And he says, it's Mom. And so I'm flipping the camera around here to you can be able to actually see my wife here holding the camera, showing that you can flip this around and spin this camera however you'd like. So a couple more things to know about 360 cameras. In this case, the Insta360 One X2, it actually shoots 5.7K video. Of that 5.7K video, that's the entire resolution of that spherical video around the camera. So when you do punch into a traditional aspect ratio like 16:9 or 9:16, it's going to be very, very similar to 1080 quality when you export it. That being said, it's all dependent on how far you zoom in or out or how you manipulate the image before you do the export. So there are a lot of different options with 360 cameras. They're called 360 cameras, and you still can export in 360. Which means, have you ever seen those videos on Facebook or on YouTube where you can click and drag and move around the entire kind of look that the camera has and the environment that the camera's in? That's what a 360 video is. And even though I'm a bigger fan of shooting in 360 and then reframing into a traditional video size, you still can export 360 photos and 360 videos. YouTube and Facebook both take 360 videos, so if you'd like to share them with other people, you can. There are plenty of other platforms that do as well. And then on 360 photos, you can share those as well on Facebook or other platforms, or Insta360 actually has kind of this sharing platform that you can upload them to and then provide a link to other people. So here's one that I shot when I was recently in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium. So as you can see, there's me hanging out in the back, there's my niece Brittany. I can move around this entire environment, and I can provide this link to somebody on their phone, and then they can just click around and check out the Ryman. Overall, I really love the Insta360 One X2 and the things that you can do with it. It allows you to stay in the moment, get some great shots, get some very unique shots, export at different aspect ratios. You can share it to your story, you can share it to YouTube, you can share it wherever you'd like. 360 cameras are absolutely one of my favorite pieces of tech from the last so many years. I really think that there's a lot that they offer, and I still think that there's a lot that people don't understand about them, and they go, if I want to shoot in 360, I'll use one. And if I want to shoot in regular photos or video, then I'm going to use that. But I think there's a huge argument here to shoot things in 360 and then to be able to reframe them and export them how you'd like them after the fact. It's very similar to shooting raw photos. You're going to shoot a raw photo so you have more control and dynamic range and more information so that you can make those changes in post. Very similar here, but instead of manipulating the color or the exposure, you're able to manipulate the frame to some degree as well as the aspect ratio that you're exporting your photo in. And that's really what leads me to say that this really is one of the best cameras you can have as a dad, as a family, as a big group of people that you want to capture some different things with. There's endless possibilities with 360 cameras. I've got 2 other videos on the channel about 360 cameras if you're interested in learning a little bit more. One of them is 6 reasons why a 360 camera belongs in your bag. And the other one dives into the KuCam 8K, which is one of the very first consumer, prosumer, point and shoot style 360 cameras that actually has 8K built in. So if you get a chance and you want to learn more, definitely check out those videos. I'm just getting started and I can't wait to make more great videos. I had a great time talking to you about 360 cameras today and why they're great cameras for dads, families, or groups. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, I'm BobbyInBlue and we talk about all things tech. If it's got lights or buttons, we're probably going to talk about it. So definitely subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.